Last month, I, 21M, went on a family trip with my parents and my brother, 26M, to a pretty high-end all-inclusive hotel. Before I dive into the story, you should know that while my brother and I get along really well, we have our moments of friction. The main issue is that he's the kind of person who lives life to the absolute fullest, which sounds great, but he tends to overdo it. Think of Barney from How I Met Your Mother, but in real life. There have even been a few times where he's called me at 4 a.m. because he has no way of getting home after changing the plans and drinking too much. There's no Uber in our city, FYI. He usually apologizes later and repays me in some way, but honestly, I've started avoiding going out with him too often because of this. Now, in a fancy hotel with unlimited drinks, it was almost impossible not to go out at night, so I went with him. Before we left our hotel room, I told him, "Hey, I'm just having a few drinks and heading back early." He agreed. We enjoyed some live music, had a few drinks, and by midnight, when the music ended, I reminded him that the bars closed at 2 a.m. and suggested we grab one more drink before heading back. He said sure. But after that last drink, he decided he wanted to stay out longer. I reminded him that we had family plans the next day and it wouldn't be fun being hungover, but he pretty much ignored me. So, I left him and went back to the room to sleep. Fast forward to 4 a.m., and the hotel room phone rings. I wake up, notice his bed is empty, and answer. It's the lobby telling me my brother is wasted, passed out, laying down in a hallway, and had thrown up all over himself. They asked if someone could come help him. Still half asleep and pretty pissed, I just hung up the phone, disconnected it, and went back to bed. When I woke up around 9 a.m., his bed was still empty, and I had a bunch of missed calls from my parents. I called my mom, and she started yelling at me, asking why I hadn't helped my brother. Turns out, my brother eventually made it to my parents' room around 6 a.m., helped by 2 hotel staff members. Apparently, he had also broken a glass door, and they were charging my parents' card for it. To make matters worse, the staff had told my parents they'd called our room first, and someone, me, had answered, only to hang up. When I went to my parents' room, they tore into me for not helping my brother. What surprised me the most wasn't their anger, they didn't know the full context, but the fact that they didn't seem upset with my brother at all, even though he was the one who caused all the chaos. My parents and my brother ignored me for most of the day, and we never really talked about the incident again. Eventually, the tension faded, but I'm left wondering. Ida for leaving my brother to deal with the mess he caused?